Hey guys, it's Andrew here at the Glide Factory, and today we're going to be chatting about waxing your board at home and getting ready for the snowboard season that is upon us. A few things that we're going to want to make sure that we have on deck is going to be our iron, our wax, our buffers, our scrapers, and some base cleaner as well. We like to use all the board butter glide wax stuff, and it really goes a long way supporting an amazing Canadian company, but they also have just a great product in general. So the first thing that we're going to want to be doing with our snowboard to get it ready for wax is to deburr the edges. Make sure there's no nicks or anything like that on your edges that could cause a scratch on your iron, making your equipment kind of wear out a little bit sooner. So what I like to use generally is our gummy stone. Our gummy stone is going to deburr your edges without really taking off the effective edge. Couple good ways to hold it is going to be just in between your index finger and your thumb, and you're going to want to bring it along the edge and just kind of clean up anything. You'll kind of feel it kind of catching and then smoothing itself out. No real direction that you need to go, but you want to make sure that it's all smoothed out. To start it all off, after deburring our edges, we're going to want to make sure that we've got some base cleaner. Apply it on just like so. Spray it up. We're gonna want to take a nice cloth, something that we know that is nice and clean, and wipe everything down, making sure that there's no dirt, no grease, nothing on the board. We're gonna let that dry out just a little bit, and then we'll be ready for our wax application. So with our iron, whether you got one of these big boys or one of those small decaying ones that come in the little pack, they're all definitely gonna do the job for you. We're gonna wanna make sure that we set our temperature to 120 degrees if we're using a basic universal wax like we are today. And you might need to go a little bit higher temperature depending on the hardness of the wax. Now that we're getting into it, we wanna talk about our application. So application is always gonna be, we wanna make sure that we don't use crazy amounts of wax. If we're just gonna throw that on there and give the old drip method, well, you're gonna end up scraping for probably an extra 10 minutes or so. So what we like to do here at the Glide Factory is to apply our brick right onto our iron, build up a little bit of a puddle, and then apply it down and spread it around anywhere from 8 to 12 inches. We're gonna make sure that the board is getting nice and saturated and turning into that real rich, deep, original color that the board would have came when you bought it. We're gonna do that all along the board and applying nice, even heat. I like to work one way and push it all the way to the other, and it tends to really make for a nice, even spread, and also allows for us to know exactly where we're on our boards. Main thing is we don't want to overheat our boards, and as we apply this wax, the wax will continue to heat the board up over the next few minutes as well. So if your top sheet doesn't feel warm to start, trust me, it'll get there. All right guys, now that we've waxed our board up, we've let it cool down in the garage or the basement or wherever, it's time to scrape. So a couple things that we're gonna wanna keep in mind is we're gonna wanna scrape the direction of the board and then buff out the direction of the board as well. So taking our scraper, I like to use the big snowboard wide ones, and we're gonna hold our scraper with our thumbs behind, pushing away from us using this inside angle of the scraper. So with that being said, we're gonna start at the nose. We're gonna push everything forward, and we're gonna make a little pile on top of our board to try to contain the mess so we don't get wax shavings all over our living room or our mom's couch. With the scrape, we're gonna see that there's a sheen and then there's a bit of a matte section. So that's gonna give you an idea on where you are at on the board and what you've scraped and what you haven't. You shouldn't be scraping for more than a few minutes unless you've added way too much wax. And now once we feel that all the wax is off the top here, we're gonna use the side of our scraper or this little notch out, making sure we got all the wax off the edges. There we go. Perfect. I then like to follow up with one of these Scotch-Brite pads, and then just make sure that they're all nice and clean and wax-free. From here, we've got a few options. We've got hand brushes, and we've got roto brushes. At home use, yeah, hand brush is gonna be fine. You're doing out your board, your lady's board, your boyfriend's board, who cares? We're gonna wanna make sure we're using these hand brushes again from tip to tail and bringing down any type of buildup of wax that we're gonna be seeing on the board. If you see a little bit of a buildup, you can take your scraper, go back on it, and make sure that it's nice and clean. Boom. If you are privy enough to have one of these amazing roto brushes, again, starting from the nose, we're gonna hold our roto brush upside down using our thumb as the trigger, and we're gonna push down the board like so. Perfect. So now that that's all buffed out, we can take another softer pad and make sure we got all the dust off of it. From here, we should just be ready to throw our bindings back on and start shredding. Some people like to add a little bit of a structure with their hand brushes and just giving it a little bit more of a nice, clean, finished look. Again, a little bit of wax dust. Let's make sure that that's all cleaned off. Boom, boom, and boom. Now, we've got a nice fresh board and we're ready to ride. Let me know how these tips help you in the future, and yeah, drop a comment, subscribe, like it, or don't. But do, because that'd be nice. Hit us up with other things that you want to see us do in the future. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and enjoy the glide.